Welcome to Break Check, everyone.
How you doing? Not that you can answer.
How you doing?
But it's just polite.
It is polite.
Yeah. It's been a week.
It has.
Have you been?
Good. How are you, bro?
I'm good. Jen, you feeling any better?
Great. It was so weird. Like last week, I still don't know what I ate.
All right.
Well,
Work
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thanks.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's get into this, shall we?
We shall. Do you have something? What do we?
I
We're
do.
gonna jump right in, just like that.
We're just gonna jump into this,
Man,
Whoa.
right?
It's like, wow, you were trying really hard today.
I'm putting all my energy into this.
Halfway through the podcast, she's gonna be slumped over the microphone. Just
Yeah, just
I feel the Benadryl.
anyway. What do you got?
well,
Let's jump in. I'm excited.
Okay, Tesla Semi.
Tesla Semi.
Yes,
Pointless.
Oh,
pointless. So you think even electric semi trucks are pointless?
It's electric. What are you gonna do when you run out of electricity?
Well, semis though are a little bit different than cars. Though. I mean,
Is the
you've
whole
driven
trailer
semis.
a battery?
No.
How are you going to get that much power for that long of a period?
Well, so for local delivery stuff, like every trucking company knows their routes. Like you know how many miles you're going to drive for the day.
So you're thinking
So-
local delivery,
Yeah.
not over the road.
No, not over the road stuff. I don't think battery powered can replace over the road yet. But for local stuff, if you know that you're driving 200 miles in a day, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use an electric vehicle. And you have a lot of benefits. Don't have to worry about diesel fuel, or oil changes, a lot less maintenance cost. A lot of benefits to it.
What does the horn sound like?
Let's not go there. Come on.
Is it an electrified horn sound or is it a real air horn?
So actually, speaking of that, just the other day at work, for the first time, I've used the air horn before. I've never actually hit the steering wheel horn.
Uh-huh.
And
Like
I did
the
that.
city
for
horn?
Yeah, the city horn. I did that for the first time the other day.
Really?
Yeah, because I was backing up and I was like, okay, should I pull the air horn or should I just hit the city horn? And I was like, I'll just hit the city horn. It's probably better. It's not.
It's not?
It's worse.
I mean, we've heard
It's
what
worse.
your air horn sounds like,
Oh no, this is worse.
which is it like a Volkswagen Beetle?
I have no idea what a Volkswagen Beetle sounds like.
Do you remember the old Dodge Neon commercials where it would go, beep, beep, hi? You remember those? When the Dodge Neon first came out, that was their marketing campaign. Is at the end of the commercial, it would just have like a little smiley face. It would just say the word hi in really basic font with a period, H-I, period.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
So it would go, beep, beep, hi.
Oh,
It was a cool campaign. They were cool
Right.
commercials. They were fun cars. They were like little go-karts.
Yeah, the Dodge Neon was a fun little
Our
car.
older brother, I don't know if you remember, Phil had one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a 5-speed.
I wrecked a Neon.
Did you really?
Oh.
Yeah.
How did you wreck a Neon?
It was at the dealership I was working at.
I don't remember. Okay, I was going to say, I don't
What?
remember you ever owning one.
Yeah, I never owned one.
I don't ever remember hearing this story.
Yeah, so
Jason used to work at a car dealership.
yeah.
Was this when you were detailing cars?
I was a lot attendant, so cleaning, detailing, moving stuff
And you
around.
wrecked a Neon.
Sort of. I didn't wreck it.
Okay, was
Sort
it a
of.
Dodge Neon or a Plymouth Neon?
If I remember right, Dodge Neon.
Okay.
Basically, at the dealership that I was working at, we had to go around to the back of the building to wash and detail the cars. To get back there, there was a blind corner that you had to. There was a fence, and the fence was here, building was here, tight turn into the between the fence and building. I came around and I saw somebody backing up in a Jeep because it was only wide enough for like one car, and I saw a salesman backing up in a Jeep. And I saw his brake lights turn on, and he was backing up quick. I should clarify, he was moving rapidly.
Sounds like you're trying to defend yourself already.
I am. But it's the truth.
Nobody's attacking you, Jason.
It's the truth, though.
Take
He
it
was-
easy. You have some Benadryl?
Yeah, right? Jen's got some I could use, I'm sure.
I do.
But he was backing up pretty rapidly.
Okay.
And when I came around, I saw him backing up, and I saw the brake lights come on. So I'm like, okay, he saw me. I looked down because the shifter was on the floor. I looked down, put it in reverse, looked up, and the Jeep was about a foot away from me, and bam, straight into the front of the Neon.
So were you at a stop?
Yeah.
So you didn't wreck anything?
No, and they saw that in the security cameras, and the salesman ended up having to pay for it.
Really?
Yeah, and the salesman was not happy with me.
I figured.
I'm like,
Well,
it's my fault.
You should have looked, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're in reverse, yeah, you should not be. one of the things new drivers, or even old drivers for that matter, when you're backing up, you should turn your body, rotate it, and look physically through the back of the vehicle.
Yeah, mirrors
don't rely
show
on
you everything.
mirrors. Don't rely on mirrors. You can't even see a blind spot when you're looking forward on a mirror. So turn around and use your eyeballs.
That's what they're there for.
And also, don't use your backup camera to back out.
No.
You look
Like
around.
That is such a great invention that has just promoted laziness.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I can, if I've had a nickel for every time that somebody said, why are you looking around? Just look at your backup. Just look at your back camera. And I'm like, no, you cannot see everything.
Okay,
How
let's
stupid.
let's be clear about what a backup camera is. It's an aid.
Yeah.
A backup camera is a reversing aid.
An assistant.
It is
Yeah.
not how you are meant to perform the procedure.
Right.
I think that they are beneficial to people who have a limitation with their ability to twist around. Like if it's an older person driving.
Or if
Like-
they've had like back surgery or
Yeah.
anything.
If
Or
you
backing up to hook up to a trailer.
Oh, that's
Right.
true.
or even if you're backing up in a parking lot and like you're in a sedan and you have two big trucks next to you to
Right.
where you can't necessarily see everything,
Mm-hmm.
a backup camera helps give you a little bit wider of a view. So in certain situations, again, backup cameras are an aid.
Yeah, but you
They
put it
help
perfectly
you.
by calling it an aid because that's what it is. You can't use it solely. Don't use just that. Use it in addition to, like, for example, if you're backing out of your driveway in the morning and you're just staring at your backup camera and you're like, oh, there's no car, there's no bicycles, there's no toys, there's nothing, no persons directly behind me, and you back out of your driveway, you don't know if there's you can't see if there's cars coming from down the street.
Right. Especially if you're in your neighborhood, a kid. A
Yeah.
kid could be running across the way. But
Running late for school.
Right,
Yeah.
but you don't see them because the camera has a very specific field of view, but your eyes have peripheral vision, and that's the whole
They have
thing.
what
Is
vision?
it peripheral? Isn't it?
Okay, yeah. You missed that last R.
Oh, how did I say it the first time?
Peripheral.
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 Well, the Tesla Semi. To get back to
Yeah, Tesla Semi. I can't get on board with the electric thing, like with the full electric thing.
see,
It's like the backup. To me, it's like the backup camera.
right?
It's a cool in addition to, not the sole thing.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing though. Is like I think the Tesla Semi is good for very specific use cases, which happens to suit, I think, a lot of truck driving scenarios, like LTL, P&D driving, or pickup and delivery driving. Like I do a longer P&D route at my job, and I drive about 200 miles, less than 200 miles a day.
What about this? It would be stupid expensive, but our government wastes money on other things that are pointless.
Right?
So, what if they redid all the roadways, one lane at a time, right? All the major highways.
Okay.
And in the asphalt or cement material,
Mm-hmm.
they had some sort of magnetic compound
Right.
that as the electric vehicle traveled across it,
Mm-hmm.
it would use the magnetic field to charge itself or to even pull it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Because then
that's-
you could do over-the-road trucks, and the road itself, you would never run out because the road itself is what is providing the energy.
right.
Yeah. The problem with that would be that magnets are.
Stop ruining my
very-
dream, bro.
You actually
The
could.
problem with that.
There is actually the
Hater.
potential that they could do something like that, but bumper car style. Like if you dedicated like
Like
the
kinetic
far-
energy, where you hit somebody and then that person hits the person in front of them, and with every hit, it produces more energy.
No,
Come on, man! You got me excited with the bumper car.
I mean you could try that.
Are you talking about with the roof with the?
Yeah, with the pole. Yeah. So if you were to dedicate like a far left lane to the semis, and you had the center lane have a grid above it, a semi could have a pole that extends and gets power for like
Above it?
above it, like
you're
the way a
saying-
bumper car does.
You're saying you're saying building a roof that has constant power, that
Yeah.
a semi that have different height loads.
No, just like for box trucks.
Oh, so forget the flatbedders.
Yeah, no, flatbed.
I don't care about the cattle haulers.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't care about the
cattle haul-
agricultural people. only the box trucks, because that's
you-
what I
hey,
drive.
you got to start somewhere. All right.
So you think building a roof structure and attaching a
Incredibly high voltage wires to it. Yeah.
bar that would always be in contact with this is a more financially sound plan than just putting magnetic material in a road.
Well, creating electromagnets to charge a battery is incredibly expensive.
And building a roof
Is
is
less
not,
incredibly
and then
expensive.
retrofitting every semi on the road.
Well, you'd have to retrofit semis with the ability
Only
to
electric
to
ones.
charge.
If Tesla's, that was it. That's it. Like the whole thing was for electric vehicles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just still have to
Like
retrofit
my
something.
my phone, I could put on a magnetic charger and it charges. So you can
Yeah,
use the
but-
same idea.
Yeah, but do you know how much space they had to dedicate to that device in there? Like,
Yeah.
like this,
The whole
this
bottom side of a
line,
car, you could just expand it on a bigger scale.
They would need a much
Why
bigger.
are you so against this? Why are you so anti this? Because it's such a good idea.
Hug it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Stop
Hug it
being
out.
such a brother and let's like come to a compromise on the fact that I'm right.
For the record, though, Tesla made a lot of claims about the semi that there's been a lot of people saying that, like there's no way they're going to meet those goals and they're not going to be able to achieve 500 miles and all that sort of stuff. So the good news is for Tesla is that Cheetos have the company who makes Cheetos Lay's, I guess,
Frito-Lay's.
Frito-Lay's. They've been using Tesla semis for a good while now to deliver Cheetos.
Oh.
Really?
And
Which
yeah.
is weird because there's a huge Frito-Lay warehouse about an hour and a half north of us, and I haven't seen any of those on the road.
Well, it's only at one specific plant.
So it's okay.
Yeah, it's not everywhere. It's just one specific plant. But also, a lot of people were like, well, that doesn't really count because they're chips. They're lightweight. But Pepsi has also been doing it.
Oh.
And they actually they have, I think if I remember right, it's like 7 Teslas. And
Wow.
3 of them.
This is only for local stuff?
Well, 3 of them go on longer routes. So 3 of them actually have a 450-mile route that they go on every day. And then the rest of them are used for local delivery routes that are roughly about 200 miles.
Now, do you know if all Teslas come with like the sleeper cab or space behind the seat? Because I know in the initial, I guess, prototype semi, it had where the seat would like turn around and be like a recliner that would face backwards like a motorhome.
Yeah.
So is that what all Tesla semis look like, or do they have like day cabs?
So they're all day cabs right now, but they're all center driving positions like a McLaren F1. So they all have a center.
So you can't have a passenger?
You can have 2 because there's 2 seats behind them.
Oh, okay.
So there's the one center driving seat, and then there's 2 on either side for passengers,
okay.
training or things like that. But they are planning on doing a sleeper version of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not out yet. Of course, the first semi is still on a slow rollout. It's not like in full on production. But yeah, so
Do you think they're going to have simulated Jake brakes?
they do. That's just regenerative braking.
I mean, like the sound.
Oh yeah, not likely.
Because all these electric vehicles, Tesla cars included, they do like sound effects just for fun.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool if they did like every time it regen braked, if it
They
did
did a
like
Jake
the
brake.
extreme Jake brake sound.
I mean, maybe inside the cabin they could do that, but
Cities would be, especially the small towns like through rural America, they all have signs. If you are a truck driver or if you've ever been on a road trip and you notice signs that say no engine braking within city limits, that's what it's talking about, the Jake brakes. Those loud when the semis let off the throttle and they use their engines to slow themselves down, that really loud brrr.
Yeah.
Not that that's what it sounds like. But they could be really big fans of these because they're silent.
yeah, absolutely.
I wonder what the weight difference is though because of the batteries.
So they're about 2,000 pounds heavier
Than a normal semi?
Than a normal semi. And
That's not bad at all,
Yeah.
considering semis can weigh up to 32,000 pounds.
right. And what's interesting too is the government made legislation to where if it's an electric semi, they actually are allowed to haul 2,000 pounds more.
So you can get
So-
to 82,000.
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
here,
semis like weight limit in American roadways is 80,000 pounds. That's truck, trailer, and load.
yeah, the whole thing. So here Tesla specifies that it can hit 0 to 60 in 20 seconds with a fully loaded 82,000 pound gross combination weight.
In 20 seconds?
Yeah, fully
What?
loaded. Yeah.
Dang.
When I was hauling flatbed, I would get like sheetrock weighing 80,000 pounds. And it would take me like 20 minutes to get up to 60.
If you can, like if you're going uphill,
If you can.
if you're going uphill, you'd be lucky to even get to 60.
Well, hauling out of like There's a sheetrock company in Medicine Lodge, Kansas, and I used to haul out of there a lot.
Okay.
And luckily, the roads were pretty flat throughout Kansas.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And
Kansas is a pancake.
but it would still take like minutes.
Yeah.
To get up to like 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It's a long time in a manual.
Right. Yeah. No, it is 20 seconds in a normal semi is how fast you can get to 60 if you have no load.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so 20 seconds 0 to 60 time is insane.
Loaded.
Yeah, with 80,000 pounds is insane in
Wonder
a
if
semi
they
truck.
come with if it's like a single. Does it say if it's a single gear or if it's like a? Does it have gears? Does it shift? Is it paddles? Does it have a stick?
If I recall correctly, it has 2 motors that are both geared differently. It has an acceleration motor and a highway motor. So the acceleration motor is for more torque, and then the gear motor or the highway motor is geared down with less torque but more efficiency. So it's there's no gears or no flappy paddles or anything. It's all just
It's just throttle and brake.
Yep.
So do you know if, because I'm just trying to think of all the differences, like what a current semi has to conform to, or like regulations and weights and all those things. Like it's got air suspension and just all these different things.
Right.
Does it have all the same things? It's just electric versus diesel?
Yeah.
So like it's still got air suspension.
Yep, air suspension.
It still has an air compressor. It still has air brakes, like all that stuff.
Yeah, everything else about it is completely normal. So
The
air brakes, air suspension, it's all the same.
the
It's
pre-trip on that would be so much easier.
right?
Yeah.
It would be.
When you go get your CDL license, and now, so as of almost a year ago, the federal government came out and said if you want to get a commercial driver's license or CDL, you have to go through a certified training and have 160 hours of training before you can go test. At one point, I was teaching at one of those locations to give people their CDLs, but you would have to do a pre-trip. Part of the examination is 3 sections. You have to do a pre-trip and then a skills test, like maneuvers, and then you have to go on a drive. And so during the pre-trip, you have to be able to name all the components, and you have to use certain lingo and certain words and phrases when you're describing all these components. And a lot of them are on the motor.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to actually point to and touch and know what you're talking about as far as like the air compressor and the
Alternator.
radiator and the alternator and like all these things, discuss all the components on the component.
Right.
And so with an electric motor, you don't have those.
No.
It would be so, you'd open the hood, battery.
Computer.
There are no dents and it's not leaking acid.
Right.
Done.
That's my type of semi.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like battery, electric motors, and
Air compressor.
Air compressor. That's about it. But what I was another part of this though is Pepsi in particular, since they're hauling a lot of weight, the 450-mile range guys that are doing the longer hauls, they said that they are doing their range or their miles, 450 miles, and getting back with about 10% battery life.
Really?
And then
That would make me nervous.
it would make me nervous.
Plus getting down to 10.
But when you consider how big the battery is, though, 10% is still a lot of power.
Does it say how fast they charge?
So yeah,
Because if I got back at like 5 p.m. for my work day,
right.
would it be fully charged by 6 a.m. the next morning?
Right. So at both both plants, the Pepsi plant and the Cheetos plant, they put in full-on Tesla. I forget. I think they call them mega chargers, but they're chargers that are specific to the semi trucks. They can charge the battery. So Tesla claims that it can go from 0 to 70% in about 45 minutes or something like that.
What?
Yeah. But the drivers have
What
said,
kind of an electric draw does that pull?
it's a 1 megawatt charger.
That's insane.
So
1.21 gigawatts. Like that's what that is. That's insane.
So, but the drivers, so Tesla themselves and Pepsi, like the companies say that like 0 to 75% in 45 minutes. But the drivers have said that in their experience, they get back with about 10% charge.
Yeah.
They plug it in and they take their 30-minute mandatory break. So when you're a CDL driver, after so many hours, you're required to take a 30-minute break. So they'll plug in for their 30-minute break. And when they get back, the truck will be at 80 or 85%.
That's nuts.
So from 10%
So 70
to like
70 to
85%.
75% in 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, for the drivers, it goes from 10% to about 80,
That's
85%.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they gain in their 30-minute break.
Oh, yeah.
70 to 75%.
Yeah. And then their whole route is 450 miles, so they don't even have to charge. But like they get to the other side, they have mega chargers there. They plug in, charge up, and then they drive back.
That's nuts. Because I was worried that it would take like a day and a half to charge that size of a battery.
Right.
And then they would have to alternate. Like I have truck A and B.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Monday, Wednesday, Friday truck. This is my Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because that would be annoying. When you're a driver, you hold so much stuff in your truck that you use throughout the day.
You do.
And so if I had to swap trucks every day and then move all my stuff every day, that would be really annoying.
Yeah, and that's really what has allowed electric cars to start kind of making a bigger splash in the when it comes to semis and cars in general is their ability to fast charge at a rate that is beginning to become reasonable. Mm-hmm. So like the biggest holdback for electric cars for the longest time was that like you said, it takes like a whole day just to charge a battery.
Yeah, you go on a 600-mile road trip, you go 400 miles and you have to charge for 9 hours.
Right.
When all you got to do is finish up another 200 miles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But now they've gotten the battery tech good enough there where you can get, 70% charged in 30 minutes. And
see, I would be more in support of like these commercial vehicles that are on the road like 11 hours a day.
Right.
Nonstop, just go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
Like moving toward electric vehicles in this area instead of like the daily commuter.
And I agree with that completely. I think that right now the tech is good enough to have commercial vehicles because they have planned routes. Mm-hmm. You know exactly what the vehicle is going to do. You know how many miles it's going to drive. Unless something crazy happens, you know what's gonna happen.
There's not a lot of variables.
Right.
You can plan charging and support along those exact routes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But with your personal vehicle, I still think we're not quite there yet with electric vehicles because with your personal vehicle, you can just decide, you can go to Walmart and they'd be like, you know what, I want to drive to California now.
Yeah, you could.
You can, and so
too many unpredictabilities, too many variables.
So your personal vehicle, at least in America, the way that Americans think, it needs to have a lot of flexibility.
And if people want to, I mean, it is an issue like pollution. We grew up in Southern California and there was a lot of pollution. We lived in an area, it was in a valley where smog sort of settled in. Mm-hmm. And our older brother, he was having issues with his sinuses. They were told, or our parents were told, that his sinuses were like deteriorating inside of his head because of the smog.
Oh my
gosh!
Because
breathing it in consistently in the valley, because some areas of California, the wind and the sea air would like blow it out to sea, and so it wouldn't just settle in. But in the valley where we were, he just sat and bathed in it in this smog. And then I grew up, I was taking steroid eye drops twice a day in my eyes for like 15 years. Because my eyes, I was told that I had a chance of being partially blind by the time I was 21. And so the steroids eventually gave me a cataract in my left eye. And so I've had cataract surgery in my 30s. And your voice, I don't know if you remember this, but his voice was really, really hoarse. And they said his vocal cords would not fully develop if he stayed living in the smog that he was in.
Right.
And so a lot of those were just a few of the many factors as to why mom and dad moved us out here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the smog is a factor to consider, and some of the most smog producing vehicles are semis.
Yeah.
And so if you can get rid of that, like that would be a massive hit in the climate department.
Yeah. And I'm not necessarily a big advocate for forcing people to go all electric, but I can understand why California made that legislation to prevent any future gasoline vehicle sales after 2035. It's like in California, you're required to go all electric by 2035. If you have a gasoline vehicle, you don't have to get rid of it, but you can't buy a new one in California after 2035. Yeah. So I don't like that. I don't agree with it because I don't think people should be forced to do that, but I can understand it.
Yeah, I can understand the reasoning and their logic behind it, but that doesn't mean I agree with it. Well, hey, do you want to see what Jen's last search was?
Sure, let's do it.
Or do you have more on the semi?
No, that was pretty much it. I was surprised to hear that it's actually like achieving what Tesla said.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was already that much in use.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
It's kind of cool.
there you go.
All right, well, let's take a bet. So I'm excited for this week because you don't have an advantage.
Yeah.
I
have no idea.
I asked Jen to specifically do a search that you would not have any indication. So you are in the same boat that I am. The only advantage you have is that you know her as a person better than I do.
I think.
Because you spend more time with her than I do. So you just know her. You kind of know her interests, unless you also know that maybe she took this as a opportunity to throw you completely off.
I would go that route.
Yeah.
I would go that route.
She's like, okay, I'm going to just pick some random thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is completely
That has
unrelated
nothing to do with anything. So Jason wouldn't even have an idea.
Sounds about right.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers?
Well, don't tell him.
Krusty Krab. She looked up Krusty Krabs.
I don't think it's SpongeBob related.
It might be.
SpongeBob is too recent of things happening, so she wanted to do something off.
Golden Doodles.
No, that's still too much on the nose. I'm gonna guess. Do you want to guess first? I know what my guess is.
Go for it.
Did dragons ever exist? That's my guess.
Maybe she looked up the Falcor dog that we discussed last week.
The comfort retriever?
Yeah, the comfort retriever. I'm going to go with that.
You're going with that?
Yeah.
You locked in?
I'm locked in.
Okay. Wow. It is petfinder.com.
Okay.
Dog for adoption. Is the dog's name 13?
I don't know.
It just says
So you're
13 dash red collar.
Oh. Maybe
So you
that would
pretty
be an
much
interesting name for
pretty
a
much
dog.
win. I mean, it's a poodle. It's a poodle puppy.
It's a cute little poodle.
It looks like
And
it
you
looks
said
like a
dog was
mop
too much on
after
the
you
nose.
mop the floor
Oh.
and then you don't wring it out. I think that's a good thing to close on.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should take our exit.
All right, let's take the exit.
All right. You guys all have a good one. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
It is Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Not yet.
It's Christmas.
It's November 11th. It's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll take our 3-day break
Next week
for our
we gotta have our
refuel
Christmas
meal.
decorations up.
And then it'll be Christmas again.
Oh, I was going to start putting my Christmas decorations up, like maybe this week.
Yeah. That's
You
why
should
for
have already
next
done it
week-
last week.
I should have, but I have some Thanksgiving stuff up.
Okay. Well. that's
Goodbye.
that. See ya.